Hello everyone, here's the tea. Got some decaffeinated green tea. Let's talk the laundry letter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll catch you up. The laundry letter, there was Gabby Petito and Bryan Laundrie. They were an engaged couple, and Bryan Laundrie ended up removing both Gabby and himself from the planet at very separate times. Him and Gabby, mostly Gabby Petito, had an aspiration of doing van life, travel vlogs, like that kind of thing. And they were making a very long multi-state road trip in her van. Admittedly, not a life I aspire for, but whatevs. So they go on this trip. Now, Gabby Petito had been living at the Laundrie's house with Bryan Laundrie and his parents. And then there was a domestic report, police report that was on video before her disappearance. And then when Bryan drives back home without Gabby in her van, there's questions. People want to know things. And the Laundries block the Petitos. They stop. They block their numbers. They're not talking to the police. They go on vacation. All kinds of sussy things are happening, right? Then, thanks to YouTube, Gabby Petito gets found. Her remains get found. And then before anything can happen to Bryan Laundrie, his remains are also found. And amongst a bunch of investigation stuff, there is a letter that is found. And it is from Bryan Laundrie's mother. How do we know this? She admits it. And it has been conclusive in her handwriting. Handwriting is a very iffy thing, but that's what we got going for us. So in this letter, I'm not going to read the letter directly. I will link it below and you can read it for yourself. It's pretty lengthy, but here's what it says in gist. It starts off of saying, I love you, we have an unshakable bond, nothing can separate us, nothing can pull us apart. I love you no matter what. Then in the middle of the letter, this is where it gets pretty sussy for most of us. It makes references to, I will buy, love is in action. People show you their actions, not in words. I will, if you go to jail, I will bring you a cake with a file in it. If you have a body to bury, I will bring bags and a shovel. If you say you hate my guts, I will get new guts. If you go to the moon, I will be watching the sky for your return. All this stuff. And then at the end of the letter, she goes, nothing can separate us. Miles and miles and miles can't break our bond. The unthinkable or thinkable sin, nothing good, bad from the heavens or hells could stop us. So the letter goes on, and there are a couple biblical references, Christian biblical references made. Now, the Petitos, I understand that Gabby Petito's mother has a different last name, but for simplicity, the Petitos took the Laundries to court, to civil court, to get that letter. And the Laundrie's lawyer was like, oh, they highlighted a couple bits. It's not what it seems like. They don't need that. It's irrelevant to this case. Well, it got turned over. The judge was like, yeah, you're going to turn that over for evidence. And then if it goes to court, it's probably going to get brought up. So, here we are. So there's a couple things that come into play here. Now, Bryan Laundrie's mother has claimed that it was just weird and quirky. It's some inside jokes. Some of the things were references to some of his favorite books when he was younger, to try to emphasize the bond that they had. Other people on the outside wouldn't understand. And it's not dated. There's no date written on it, which makes sense to me. When I send cards or letters to friends and family, I don't put dates on them. I don't date most things unless my job requires it, really. But personal things, I almost never put dates on them. But more suspiciously, she didn't sign it. She didn't, she goes through all these things about our unbreakable bond, but then she doesn't sign it like, love mom truly, or anything like that. So that's a little bit weird. Now, it could have been on purpose. Like, if I put a date on this, that's going to give me trouble later. However, we're going to get to why I don't think that's quite the case. It was just not a thing. The inside joke, she was just like, it's a little weird and quirky. Okay. I guess, but I will bake a cake with a file in it. If you have a body, I will bring bags and a shovel. Does that really indicate to you? Like, does that sound jokey, quirky? Tell me, is that how your mother and you joke around? Kind of a thing? Maybe. Some people have a dark sense of humor, but she didn't say that. She was just like, oh, it refers to children's books. What children's books do you be reading? What? The other thing is, people will argue, and there is an argument to be made here either way. I'm just presenting the viewpoints, the tea, if you will, of there are biblical references. They're a religious family. Maybe when she goes the unthinkable sin, thinkable, unthinkable, maybe that's referring to how even though Gabby and Bryan were engaged, they would be living together, cohabitating in the van, and possibly doing some other shenanigans, unwed. And there are religious beliefs that are like, oh, nay, we don't be doing the kissing and the touching before the ring is on the finger. You know, until you don't consummate until you get the blessing, you know? And so maybe that's the unthinkable sin, that cohabitating before marriage and other things are just not cool with them. My problem with that, though, my counter argument to that, is they were living engaged with the Laundrie family. And I don't know the bounds. I'm not a religious person in that aspect. So religious people, let me know. If you're living with somebody's parents, are you still living together? Is that still cohabitating in sin? Or is it because, oh no, this is just a housing situation and they just happen to be dating, but they're not together? Like, is that different? I don't know. And I would like to point out that religious doesn't equal moral. Religious doesn't equal justified. There have been plenty of war and horrible crimes committed in the name of religion. So just because somebody is religious doesn't automatically make them good. Just because somebody has religious beliefs doesn't automatically make them moral. So there's that. The other thing is that there was some tension between the mom, Bryan, and Gabby. And maybe from living with them in the same house, maybe his mom said that she didn't really love you. She said, I love you, but she didn't show the actions. She didn't perform actions of love. And so saying all that extreme stuff, she was trying to show how she truly loved her son, and Gabby didn't. Because she's, again, trying to say that this letter was written before they went on the road trip to Wyoming, as opposed to after, when he was going off to say goodbye forever. Like go on the lam, if you will. So maybe she was like, that it was superficially said between them, but she didn't see or sense a real love between them, and that what Bryan and his mother had was real love. I'm not really sure that explains the whole bring in body bags and a shovel, or, you know, the file jail cake thing. I'm not sure that explains that away, but whatever. The lawyer said that it was done before. Of course, the lawyers are going to say that, at least the Laundrie lawyer. I have my thing written down. That's what I keep looking at, by the way. They said that they tried to keep it out because they knew that there were certain parts that looked bad. You don't say. But it would be taken out of context to, you know, behoove the Petito narrative. It's incriminating AF, alright? I'm just saying that it's really incriminating. The contents itself would be incriminating enough. What's really going to seal this, there are a couple things we don't know, and I'll get to that in a second. The thing that I think is more of the nail in the coffin about this is that there was Bryan's full name. The mom already admitted that she wrote the letter. She confirmed that it was her letter to Bryan. But on it, it said on the envelope, burn after reading. Burn after reading. When you want to write something down to give someone information, but you intend and expect them to burn it after that information gets taken in by that person, why? Why do you think that would happen? I think that would happen because you don't want somebody else to read that. This letter, these words were never meant to see the light of day. No one else's eyes other than Bryan's were meant and intended to see this letter. And it's because it does look bad, and it does give some indication. The Laundries have insisted that that they didn't know that Bryan had Gabby beforehand. But everyone's like, they protected their son, they evaded investigation, they stopped investigations from happening, and the Petito family is mad about it. They're like, our daughter was missing, we were grieving and in pain, and you were on vacation and blocking our calls when you knew what went down. Your son is a murderer and you knew it. And I'm just saying, if you're in jail, there's a cake in the file. There's body bags and you're going to bring this. If he goes to the moon, miles and miles can't keep us apart. Like as in him going on the lam. Or is it going far away and she didn't like that he was going far away with, maybe she didn't approve of Gabby. You know, we don't know what the relationship was like. Just because she begrudgingly let Gabby live with them at the love of her son and behest of her son doesn't really mean that she was fond of Gabby. And what's really gonna, I think, seal this is when it gets revealed by the FBI investigators of where they found the letter. Because if they found it in Gabby's van, then that's a higher indication that it was given to them, because he didn't take the van when he went on the lam before he went bye-bye himself. But if it was in the van, it's not that there's a 0 chance that it was given afterwards, but it does lean towards it being before. But if it was found with his staff by his body, like in his backpack, as some have speculated, there's no way it was given to him beforehand, right? So again, you can look and read the whole letter for yourself below. I've linked Emily D. Baker, where I watched the whole thing and she reads it out loud if you're interested in that with her commentary. Let me know what you think. I think that there's room to say that, you know, maybe it looks bad, but it's not as bad as it seems. You know, things are just getting twisted. Or maybe it's like, nah, they know some stuff. Those are some shady people. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Bye!